Denver lost its first meeting with South Dakota State at Brookings, 87-79, back on January 8th. Pioneers led that game by as many as 7 in the second half, and it ended up going SDSU's way. But for DU, an opportunity to get this thing to a season split and get on the right track, headed to one of their final 2 road games of the 2025-26 campaign, as we are underway, but the shot clock did not start as that ball was pulled in by SDSU off of the opening tip.
Only 4 off the clock. We'll see. There's 3 off the 30-second clock and 4 off the game clock. So I'm not sure what the officials want that to be, but they'll get it sorted out.
Anticipation to get the game started.
Still waiting just to get everything set on the opening moments of this Thursday night contest. Pioneers and the Jackrabbits meeting up for the 34th time all-time. And South Dakota State has dominated this series historically, but Denver has won the last 2 games here in Denver by an average of 17.5 points in those contests. As the clock's now off, being reset, so presumably, maybe not.
Now it's really off.
Kept just by the officials, but instead we get a horn and sputtering start to this one as they'll reset everything and get it back on track. SDSU in Denver sharing some laughs. Michael Irving, we got a chance.
Even the clock, because the 30-second clock shouldn't start until the ball is retrieved and there's the tip, and that when the ball's touched, clock starts.
It went into the backcourt
sure what they want
for a couple seconds. So they'll now put the game clock at 1956 and the shot clock at 27. So that makes all the sense.
Huh?
Now we're set. Now we're set, hands.
Play ball. Let's go.
An odd first possession now underway for South Dakota State as they take the basketball to the goal to your left, watching along on altitude tonight. The all-blue road unis for SDSU. Conference powerhouses every single year. As the first offering of this Thursday night is no good there from Damon Wilkinson, and the Pioneers will head the other direction with it.
Well, D will look for some threes. The Jackrabbits will look inside.
Carson Johnson up top through Jeremiah Burke to Logan Kinsey from the left side. Kinsey spinning into the paint. Kinsey heads down toward the block. Now pulls up the dribble looking for some help. Instead, he'll spin, go to the jumper on his own. Ooh, what a finish. And
got
Kinsey
an ankle.
Went down awkwardly.
Those are ones you come down on somebody's foot, and we'll see what happens here. It spins. Nice fadeaway jumper here by Logan.
That was a great move to get to that shot. The awkward landing, and thankfully, Logan got to his feet pretty quickly, walked off under his own power. Sean Wysocki will check in for him as Logan goes to be attended to by Pioneers athletic trainer Emi Matsuno. So hopefully just a brief absence for Logan. Pioneers with the first bucket of this game, and now SDSU trying to go to work in the paint. Wilkinson backing his way down. Oldham had him sort of pinned there at the baseline with Nelson helping, and a nice recovery by Wilkinson, who's got his first bucket of the night.
Now they're going to pound it down inside. I like DU showing a little double team there.
Jeremiah Burke from the corner. That one's off the front iron. And a rebound pulled down by Gabe Oldham, who puts it right back up and in. Gabe Oldham, just a few games ago, 19 rebounds all on his own in Kansas City. That was one shy of a program D1 record. He's got his first one off the glass, but there's Jaden Jackson to respond with his first jumper of the day.
Game all tied up.
90 seconds in. Final regular season meeting between Denver and South Dakota State as conference foes here in the Summit League. Pioneers off to the West Coast Conference in 2026-27. Zane Nelson on the left side. Kalen Gary on him. They'll go into the corner and find Jeremiah Burke, who then spots Carson Johnson. Wide open look for Carson Johnson.
That's a soft rim there, Tyler. Carson Johnson able to create his own opportunity with the shot clock down.
So Johnson's first look of the day turns into his first bucket of the day. Denver 3 for its first 4, and South Dakota State is the same. They're all tied up at 6 apiece.
Wow. That's 6 for Wilkinson.
You can tell the game plan early on is just pound the inside with Damon Wilkinson, the sophomore forward out of DeSmet, South Dakota. Here's Zane Nelson. He drives down the right side, and Zane is fouled there. Well, it is the first year of the Brian Peterson era in Brookings, South Dakota, who took over as the head coach of this program. 23rd head coach in Jackrabbits history, and leading his team here in this 2025-26 season. Previously spent 6 years under Eric Henderson as an assistant at South Dakota State. Henderson moving on to take over the program at Drake. As off the turnover, here goes Kalen Gary through contact, and the bucket's good. Talked to Brian Peterson a little bit earlier today, and obviously a lot of ups and downs in a first-year coach's life. There is nothing new from that standpoint, but a guy who's just so in tune with the culture and the process and the things that have made South Dakota State successful. He's got a lot of guys on this roster with a ton of experience in this league. Jeremiah Burke hands it to Carson Johnson. Johnson splits through everybody, and the floater is good.
Well, he continued as a hot hand. Remember, he had 27 against North Dakota State, the #1 ranked team in the league. And DU's going to need his point production this evening.
Matthew Moores hands it off to Gary. Kalen Gary, one of the veteran guys on this team, also from DeSmet. He is a junior for this SDSU squad. His jumper is short, and the rebound is Gabe Oldham's.
Gabe is a glass cleaner. I love him.
Here's Burke for three. That one's off the mark and off the baseline as well. So the Pioneers will turn it over on the missed shot. Pioneers first-year headman on the other side. Tim Bergstrasser, 12-14 in his debut season, but 5-6 in Summit League play, coming off those back-to-back wins over North Dakota State in North Dakota. How about this stat, Hans? The Pioneers are looking for their first 3-game winning streak in the Summit League since 2018. South Dakota State is looking to avoid its first 3-game losing streak in the Summit League since 2017. So some teams potentially headed in opposite directions tonight as Seiler deals it up top. Here's Moores for three. That rims in and out. The rebound for Burke.
Like the blockouts on the missed shot. No offensive rebounds yet for the Jackrabbits, and that's good for DU.
Pioneers with 4 early rebounds, just one on the other side for SDSU. Denver with an 8-8 tied score, and a good look there for Jeremiah Burke, but couldn't get it to fall.
A little bit of contact, but I like how the officials are letting them play in the early going.
Here's Jackson, steps back and deals it to Moores. Another three. That one's well off the mark as well. And good effort by Alex Squires, but as that ball was sailing out of bounds, he decided to not sacrifice himself diving into some poor souls on the baseline. So with that, we will head to our first media timeout so far this season. But Denver has struggled on the defensive end, and that is going to be the big key tonight. Who is going to defend better in this contest? South Dakota State a little bit better in the rebounding category. Neither of these teams really turns it over a terribly high amount. So it's going to be an interesting one with these two squads fighting for seeding positioning in the middle of this Summit League Conference landscape here in 2026. As out of the timeout, Carson Johnson will wing it out to the right side and find Jeremiah Burke. Corner three, Zane Nelson. Yes, sir!
That's the first three of the game for both teams. Zane Nelson. Good ball movement by DU on that possession.
And Zane Nelson, 46.4% from three this season. He has been a sharpshooter for Denver as the Pioneers have the lead by 3. Now Nelson gambling for the steal and unable to pull it in. A great hustle by Zane Nelson pursuing that up the sideline.
DU really wants to be ready. They're 14 on the shot clock. Put some pressure on.
SDSU's going to have to inbound from in front of the bench. Caleb Delzell, a grad transfer, will do so. Left side look there for Joe Seiler, trying to find his way to a good spot. The jumper off the front of his rim, and DJ Malang into the game for the Pioneers, able to pull the rebound in.
So impressed by the way DU is blocking out on the glass to the stronger, bigger Jackrabbits.
Nelson steps back, another three. That one won't go, but Zane's fouled, and he will head to the stripe. Foul committed there by Kalen Gary, the veteran.
I think he got him on the arm coming up. Yep, hit him right on the forearm there. Rule of thumb is don't foul jump shooters. Contest, but don't foul.
So Nelson at the stripe, where he this season has shot just over 78%. Rare miss there. Let's take a look at tonight's injury report presented by Panorama Orthopedics and Spine Center. Not a lot on these two squads as far as injuries go, thankfully. Buck Alvarez out of action for South Dakota State tonight. He had a practice injury, suffered a foot injury earlier this week. Caden Holbrook has been out this season for the Pioneers.
Good news for the Pioneers. Logan Kinsey back on the court after rolling that ankle. I'm sure they retaped that, and good to have him back.
Very good to see for DU as Nelson cashes in both. And the Pioneers fall back defensively with a 5-point lead here in the early going. Up top, 3 on the way from Delzell. That one's no good. And the 6'9", 230 grad student, he can pull that trigger from downtown. An interesting matchup problem, but no good on his first try as Nelson will get it up top to Burke. Fake the handoff there with Johnson. Instead, Jeremiah goes baseline. Now looking out toward the wing for Nelson. He'll get it to him. Zane working off of a screen, trying to get around one defender. Kicks it back out. Here's Burke for 3. Good! Jeremiah Burke, tough shot. He knocks it down.
So impressed at the shooting ability of the Pios. Inside-out action is what you want on a 3.
10-0 run now for the Pioneers since this was an 8-6 lead for SDSU. As DU doing some really good work so far here on home floor, trying to get a season series ending win over South Dakota State. Textbook post move down low by Alex Squires. Didn't get the shot to go, but that ball knocked out of bounds. It will remain with SDSU. This is Jeremiah Burke's 3 from a moment ago.
Yeah, look at the penetration inside. Draws the defense down, kicks out, gets a good inside-out look, knocks it down.
So it stays South Dakota State basketball. As the Jackrabbits look to snap a 10-0 Denver run in the early going of this one. Thrown off the bottom side of the backboard due to the contact.
Yeah, the Pios, nice defense there, but good pump fake. South Dakota State will go to the line.
This one rattles home.
You know, basketball's a game of runs, and DU got the first one, 10-0. Now, see if they can continue this run.
Pioneers have been so good on their home floor at being able to just find quick offensive flow in games. The defensive end has been the struggle for DU in this 2025-26 season, but man, that road trip to North Dakota certainly showcased a whole lot of things this coaching staff has been hoping to see all season long. Carson Johnson to the corner, Logan Kinsey 3, got it!
And great penetration by Carson Johnson. Draws the D in, kick out, open 3, knocks it down again. DU 3 of 5 on 3-pointers so far.
So 9-point lead for the Pioneers here in the early going, and a ball fumbled straight out of bounds there by Damon Wilkinson. We're headed the other way.
Shot clock, they made South Dakota State play that full clock and then get it to your key guy, Carson Johnson. He can create his own, and South Dakota State knows that. Helped, and it was too much help because it gave an open 3 to Logan.
So Carson Johnson looking to add to what sits right now as a 9-point advantage. Goes to Jeremiah Burke, now into the corner to Josh Lee into the game for Denver. Back up top to Burke, here's Johnson. Once more to JB. They're trying to get around Caleb Delzell, goes down baseline, finds Johnson, quick 3 on the way. That one's just short, but a battle for the board. Gabe Oldham's there to put it back up. Oldham got his own rebound. Looking up top, finds Jay Lee, and Denver can restart.
What a rebounding battle inside. Gabe, 2 offensive rebounds on that possession.
Johnson finds a spot after crossing over a man, and the shot won't go. Man, oh man, what a move from, you could hear the audible gasp in the crowd as now a 3 the other direction from Joe Seiler won't fall, and tipped into the hands of Logan Kinsey on the rebound. Denver's doing a great job, hands, of limiting second chance opportunities. South Dakota State has just 1 offensive board to this point in this game.
9 rebounds to 3.
Good start on the glass for the Pioneers. Hold him up top to Carson Johnson and Josh Lee. Lee shut off in the paint. Now collects it back from Johnson. 3 ball. Good! Josh Lee has not attempted a ton of threes this season, but he's about 30% from beyond the arc, and he buries one there and forces the timeout from South Dakota. Better mattress sleeper of the game, and the guy in the middle of your screen, I don't know how much longer anybody's going to get away with calling Zane Nelson a sleeper on this Denver team, because he has turned into quite a standout for this squad. Nelson, for the season, 14.4 points per game. The grad transfer from Missouri Western State. Obviously, the headlines go to Carson Johnson, but man, Zane Nelson has been such an effective night-to-night scoring presence for DU as we'll get a foul call on the Pioneers here.
Yeah, good job. I love the scrappiness of DU. I mean, they're undersized against the Jackrabbits, but they don't care. They'll switch, they'll pressure the ball, and they're going to make it tough to get a good shot off.
Inbound pass to Joe Seiler. Seiler, the sophomore out of White River, South Dakota. Able to drive around Wysocki. Jumps up, did not get a call on any contact. Off the rebound, here comes Josh Lee. Flying with Jackson in front of him. Bouncing off of Jackson, the foul call. And Josh Lee will go to the line. Wow. Man, oh man, that burst. That was something.
There's some speed, and he was run down by, who's our guy? Jaden Jackson ran him down, but Josh able to create the contact and going to go to the line. Again, DU doing well in all categories, including free throws.
Josh Lee is, I mean, one of my favorite guys in my years covering Denver basketball, and a guy who this season has not gotten probably as much public credit, I think, as maybe he deserves. Jay Lee, a starter for the majority of last year. He started over half the Pioneers games. Came to Denver 2 seasons ago as a transfer from Itawamba Community College, a Canton, Mississippi native is Jay Lee. But you go from playing tons of minutes, making a lot of starts, to this year he's been in way more of a reserve role. And he's really embraced it and has done things in that limited time on the floor that he makes an impact. He might only get 6-8 minutes a night, but he's going to make an impact when he's out there. And so far, Josh Lee is actually tied for the Pioneers team lead with 5 points. As nothing good there for SDSU. The Jackrabbits started this game 4 of 5 from the floor. They are 0 for 9 since that start.
18-2 run.
Here's Wysocki for 3. Coming 21-2. What a start for Denver in this one. The Pioneers trailed at 8-6. And now a 27-10 lead as we come up just past the midway point of the first half. And a foul call is going to go against Denver. That was kind of a weird one there. Alex Squire certainly got fouled, but it wasn't because of anything he did. Gabe Oldham got tangled up with Sean Wysocki, but here's a look at the 3 a moment ago for Wysocki.
Look again, what's going to happen off that's the third 3-pointer from a corner off of penetration. And the Jackrabbits coaching staff is going to say, we can't help that much. So that could free up Carson Johnson for some more shots.
And a 17-point lead just past the midway point of the first half over South Dakota State for DU. Seiler steps back. Oldham on the contest. Nice shot there from Joe Seiler, the former South Dakota Mr. Basketball and Class B Player of the Year, who knocks it down.
That's their first field goal in a long, long time.
The last field goal, Hans, if you will believe it, was at the 17:22 mark. The Pioneers go almost 8 full minutes shutting out South Dakota State from the floor. That is incredible defensive work from a DU team that all season long has been trying to find the defensive keys. And over this last 3-4 game stretch, they have finally gotten there. It's a jumper won't fall from Nelson. Quick outlet to Morris. Burke in transition is able to chase it down, and Morris couldn't finish the dunk.
You got a hand on a good hustle by Burke to contest at the rim.
So Denver trying to add to a 15-point advantage. Lee spinning into the paint. Josh off a contact. Couldn't get the shot to go. Wysocki on the rebound is bumped out of bounds. Here's another look at that breakaway a moment ago, and the dunk that was not for SDSU.
Morris looked like he had an easy bucket here, and Burke said, I'm in your window frame.
Man, that is a great job hustling back. So many guys you kind of let up at that last second because you don't want to run into contact that potentially puts a guy at the line for a 3-point play, but Jeremiah Burke able to get enough in that pursuit. Saki now left one fly, that one partially blocked, and here comes SDSU.
A little too much dribbling on that possession. The Jackrabbit defense is so strong.
Seiler trying to work his way around Burke, and the feet got tied up there between those two guys. So Seiler spilling to the floor. That is the fourth foul on Denver.
Both teams with 4, so still a way to go to get into the bonus situation. And good for DU. They're able to rest Carson Johnson a little bit because he usually plays about the whole game.
Yeah, this is a series that has been so fascinating to watch the last 3 years. The Pioneers have just last in South Dakota State, the last 2 meetings in Denver. But SDSU has had its way with the Pioneers in Brookings for virtually the entirety of this all-time series. Denver has 1 win all-time at Brookings. Here's Zane Nelson.
Yeah, move that ball. Anytime it holds, Jackrabbit Steve's going to set. Just keep moving it.
Into the corner, Wysocki, back out through Lee. Burke, now Nelson on a screen. Heads down and bounces off of Hurdle. That one won't fall. And Denver's offense going a little bit cold now. Pioneers scoreless over the last about 2 minutes. Jackson, left wing to Gary. Lobbed into the big fellow Squires. Squires trying to work his way down low, and instead just turns it over and throws it straight to Josh Lee. Lee will slow it down as he'll hand it off to Wysocki. Knew he didn't have the numbers headed his way, so the Pioneers will get it set up.
Great defense again by DU.
Burke's 3 is hit the shot clock up above the backboard, and that makes it out of bounds, and unfortunately it falls through but doesn't count for Denver. 15. The South Dakota Coyotes arrive at Hamilton Gymnasium for the final time in Summit League play, but 2 of the best in the circuit on the floor here tonight at Hamilton Gymnasium.
I like Coach Strasburger getting Carson Johnson back in the game a little fresh, so we'll see what will come in. They're going to go back inside. That's a way to get him to pick it up.
Luke Hurdle, turnaround jump shot is good. Nice finish from Luke Hurdle. Transfer from D2 Winona State. Spent his freshman season at Wisconsin a couple of years ago. And Hurdle this year playing a solid reserve role for SDSU. Zane Nelson from the top of the key. Bounds it out there to Carson Johnson. Goes right back to him and then takes it on the handoff. Johnson trying to get around Garrett. Crossover back from Nelson. Denver not going inside a whole lot the last few minutes. Pioneers are 5 for 10 from three-point range. Nelson now will penetrate. Dumps down low. Malang lost it. Here comes SDSU off the turnover.
Now, got to get that ball in Carson Johnson's hand with the shot clock down. He's able to create and dish or shoot.
Johnson trying to stay in front of Kalen Gary. Good finish from Gary. So Denver at one point was on a 16-2 run in this one, and the Pioneers now scoreless for about 3 minutes.
6-0 run by South Dakota State. Dire need of a hoop here.
DJ Malang finds Johnson, screens for him. Johnson goes to Wysocki on the wing. Sean will drive and penetrate. Wysocki under contact. That didn't go. Rebound right down. Awaiting Zane Nelson for 2.
Yeah, Wysocki, give him credit. He couldn't control that rebound, but able to tip it to his teammate.
6 minutes to go here in the first. Look at what Denver is doing on the glass tonight. That is not something you see very often against the South Dakota State team. They have out-rebounded their opponents by 4.2 boards per game this season, and a foul call here on Wysocki.
Still not in the bonus yet, so.
Number 5 on Denver.
I like how they're rotating. DU's rotating players in because the physicality of this game plays into South Dakota State's favor, but keep fresh bodies. That'll be a hang in there.
13-point lead for the Pioneers. It's been as many as 17 here in this half, and a bucket and a chance at a three-point play for Kalen Gary. Kalen Gary, you're going to rely on your veterans in the moments when you need that sort of leadership, and Gary is one heck of a dude to be able to lean on. He's got 6 now with the free throw pending.
Yeah, Zane's just got to come over and cut him off. He elevated, thinking he was going to shoot, but drew the and one.
So SDSU can try to cut this thing to a 10-point game. Unable to do it there as Logan Kinsey falling down, but springing up after he got a hand on that ball to tip it to a teammate. And here come the Pioneers. Kinsey down low, finds Oldham in the lane. Oldham had it swiped away by Luke Hurdle. Hurdle flying up the floor. He's got somebody with him and blocked as falling back. Zane Nelson was able to get the hand to it.
Well, that's the defensive play of the game. Not a goaltend either. Knocked it right off the glass.
What hustle from Zane Nelson. As Oldham hands it to Johnson. Right back to Zane, another three on the way. That's in and out, and the rebound belongs to the big man, Damon Wilkinson.
Where they battled. Wilkinson and Gabe are just going at it.
Driving through a whole bunch of traffic is Seiler. Man, what a ball fake and the turnaround finish from Joe Seiler. So SDSU has whittled this thing from 27-10 to 29-20.
Well, that's
a 10-2 run.
10-2 run.
Johnson trying to get himself going. 2 for 4 to start this game for 4 points. Zane Nelson leading the way with 7 for Denver. Everybody except for DJ Malang, who has touched the floor for the Pioneers, has scored. Great job by Kinsey there to get that rebound corralled, and he feeds Jeremiah Burke, who buries the triple.
Wow, what a job on the glass by DU. Another inside-out three buried by Logan Kinsey.
4:10 to go here in the first half. Denver is led by as many as 17, sits at 12 right now. Gary steps back for 3. That's off the mark, and a rebound for Zane Nelson. Looked up the floor for Jeremiah Burke. Didn't have a clean passing lane to get it to him, so Denver will set it up offensively. 3:50 to go. Nelson trying to get around Hurdle. Pulls up the dribble, swings it. I think I said Nelson, it was Johnson, and now here's Burke for 3. That one's no good. Oh man, great effort there by Oldham to save it, but no friendly hands back to be on the receiving end. Down low, here goes Gary, and he's able to score it once more. Another bucket, another foul, and Kalen Gary heading to the free throw line for another shot at a 3-point play. Couldn't complete his first one, but if he does here, it'll whittle the telling a lot of the story of the early going.
Yeah, DU's done a good job of taking away the 3-point shot, making them earn it inside. A couple times they've gotten beat for and one. Here's one right here, and they got to do a better job of staying in front of the drivers.
Kalen Gary will complete his 3-point play. One of the most decorated athletes in the history of South Dakota high school athletics. 2 state titles, finished runner-up once in high school. He was also the state's Boys Athlete of the Year because he was nominated in both football and basketball while he was in high school. Pretty amazing athleticism for Gary, who's going to get a well-deserved breather here. As Denver turnaround look there from Kinsey, that won't fall. South Dakota State is just knifing this thing down. It stood at 17 at 27-10. And since then, South Dakota State has gotten it back to single digits at 32-23. About 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Seiler trying to get Wysocki on skates. Couldn't do so. Instead, flings it to Delzell. And now down to the baseline. Here goes Wilkinson for the hook shot. Couldn't finish. Rebound. Got it himself and wings it back up top. Denver wanted an over-the-back call and didn't get it. Here goes Jackson into the paint. Jackson's turnaround jumper. That one short. And the rebound this time belongs to Logan Kinsey.
Oh, Logan went up high to get that rebound.
Pioneers have gone a lot quieter from downtown. 1 for their last 5. Carson Johnson trying to change it. Won't do so on that shot as Delzell pulls it in.
Got a good look 3. You got to take that shot.
32-23. Luke Hurdle into the paint. He goes where Oldham will shut him off. Up to Jackson. Now Hurdle gets it back. Head faking. Couldn't get Oldham off of his feet. And a nice job there by Kinsey to help out as those two try to keep Hurdle and Wilkinson contained. Now a step back 3. That one's short, and Kinsey's there for it.
Boy, they haven't even been close on their 3-point attempts. DU trying to increase their lead right before half. About 2 minutes to go. Are up 9.
Student section behind us. They usually pick one guy from an opposing team per game to try to get after, and it is Luke Hurdle tonight as that layup try won't go. Trying to get it past the outstretched hand of Wilkinson. With a 9-point lead, Denver back defensively. The Pioneers scoreless for the last 2.5 minutes now. Right side, Saylor. Jumper good.
Catch came off that screen, elevated, pretty shot.
Joe Seiler almost 14 points per game so far this season, and SDSU now on a 15-5 run, and we got a timeout taken by the Pioneers. South Dakota State cheering section. Always a good amount of blue and yellow behind that opposite bench.
Right now.
Pioneers with 6 made threes from 5 different players, by the way. None of them named Carson Johnson. So that shows you how DU's offense is clicking. And Carson Johnson, the type of guy who can go for 20 and a half in a blink of an eye. He's only got 4 so far, but Jeremiah Burke with 2. Logan Kinsey's got 1. Zane Nelson, Sean Wysocki, Josh Lee. As we're back to it out of the DU timeout. Left side with it is Wysocki. Sean goes down, trying to bounce off of Delzell. Nice job to get to the rack, couldn't finish. Got his own rebound. Ball tapped back out, and it'll remain with Denver. Here's Josh Lee open. Head fake, couldn't get Wilkinson in the air, so instead the Pioneers will slow it down.
Plenty of time on the clock.
Johnson into contact, going to the line.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to go in there and be with the trees and try to draw contact. That time, Carson Johnson, nice job of getting down. A lot of hand check, a lot of fouling. They got fouled 4 times on that drive.
4 different players, you're right. I think all contacted him. There was only one Jackrabbit on the floor who was not in on that convergence defensively. Good job by SDSU to collapse around Denver's best scorer, and Johnson at the line buries his first one there. Pioneers last season rolled to a win over this SDSU team at home. Their last 2 meetings, Denver has won by an average of 17.5 here in this building. So you got to look at Carson Johnson's outstanding season from the free throw line. South Dakota State won the first meeting between these 2 teams this season on January 8th in Brookings, 87-79, the final in that one. Into the final minute here in the first half. 34-25. Left side with it is Seiler. To the baseline, Lee shuts him off there. Josh able to follow him around the screen. Seiler into the paint, looking for help. Instead has to go back out with it. Lee collects him again. Seiler's 3 is off the mark. Wilkinson, good body positioning. Battle for the board though, and somehow Gabe Oldham comes out with it and hands it off. No look behind his head to Logan Kinsey. And Denver can play for one more shot.
Now they got about 16 on the clock right now. What hustle by Gabe Oldham.
Johnson trying to create space. He's got Jaden Jackson all over him. Johnson penetrates, step back jumper. Got it!
Oh, big shot. What a comeback. 4 points in the last minute.
And good look at the buzzer there for Joe Seiler. He might not have gotten it off in time. It doesn't matter either way as the Pioneers head into halftime with the lead back into double figures. Grocer of the Denver Pioneers. And by Breckenridge Brewery, the original Mountain Town brewery, 35 years and counting. Back to it, the second half underway at Hamilton Gymnasium as Jeremiah Burke lets the pass. As soon as that ball left his hands was when I said underway. That's how you know just how locked into the flow of this game we are on Altitude TV on this Thursday night. The penultimate Denver Thursday home game of the 2025-26 season as the Pioneers out of halftime, an 11-point lead over the South Dakota State Jackrabbits with the first shot of this second half. No good from Jeremiah Burke. And here comes SDSU. Hence the same question I asked you last night about what you would say if you were in the Denver locker room when we did the Pioneers game, home game for the women's team against Omaha. Let's flip that tonight. If you're South Dakota State, what's the conversation like? Things were not poor, with the exception of the three-point shooting in the first half, but what are you talking about?
Yeah, South Dakota State, you go, guys, keep playing. We're wearing them down. We're making it tougher on them. And, wow, what an up and under there. Zane had a good look, stepped through. That's sort of an NBA move there, but not able to knock it down.
Take by Zane Nelson. Here's Kalen Gary on the other end. His shot won't fall either, but a great job pulling in the rebound by Damon Wilkinson. And the 2 DeSmet guys will team up to send Wilkinson to the free throw line.
And Denver got a little confused on the D. And, well, Wilkinson just used his big tush, something that you know about, Tyler, to just move him out of the way and get that offensive rebound. DU's going to have to find some offense again because they're not going to be able to grind it the whole way.
Hey, Pioneers fans, from online scheduling to same-day or next-day appointments, access care your way with Panorama Orthopedics and Spine Center. So down to a 9-point game. This lead for Denver, as we told you in the first half, was as many as 17, but the Pioneers have pretty much been able to keep it right around this mark, 9 to 11, 13 or so. That's been good for Denver to this stretch.
Our first DU player in double figures. Carson has 6 straight points for the Pioneers.
Somewhat of a quiet start, at least by Carson Johnson's standards, and then just bursts into double figures with 6 points shot out of a cannon, as Carson Johnson usually is offensively. That ball lost off a couple of feet. South Dakota State comes away with a great fall-away pass there by Jaden Jackson to get it up the floor to Matthew Moores. And now Jackson will get things started.
Rare turnover by DU. Carson thought he got tripped on that play.
That was just the 4th Pioneers turnover of the game. SDSU has just 2 as Gary back Johnson in. Left that one off the side of the rim. And a nice job by Oldham to get to that ball and corral it after initially fumbling it. And the Pioneers, with nobody really getting back with any sense of urgency, Jeremiah Burke is there for 3.
That's a big made 3 there. It's DU now 7 of 15 behind the arc.
SDSU just forgot about Burke going to the corner there, and now JV's got a rebound.
They got numbers if you attack.
Burke leaves it for Nelson. Singing into the lane. Trying to get around or through Kalen Gary. Instead, hands it off there to Logan Kinsey. Back up top. Burke head fakes another one. Back to Kinsey. Kinsey through contact with offensive foul will send us the other way.
Anytime you drive and you turn your back and swim, and there's contact, it's more often going to go against the offense. And it was right there.
Good job by Gary to get there and get the feet down. So DJ Malang will check back into the game in place of Oldham. Pioneers 3 players with 2 fouls to this point: Burke, Kinsey, and Nelson. 2 players on the other side with a pair of fouls in Gary and Seiler. Up top with it, Jackson. Nice feed there to Squires, but turnaround left short. SDSU 0 for 6 and now 1 for their last 11.
Yeah, a lot of jump hooks inside, not going down for South Dakota State. Good defense by DU.
Burke surveys the floor. Motioning for Nelson, instead goes to find a wide open Johnson. Can't leave him there. Wow. And the lead in the blink of an eye is right back to the biggest margin of the game at 17, 44-27. Here's we come up on the first media timeout of the second half. Malang skying, what a job by Kalen Gary to finish over DJ Malang.
Got beat to the hoop, but the help was there. High arc and shot off the glass.
Malang, not a small guy, 6'9", 225. He was at the apex of that jump with his arm up. And a whistle and a foul call here that's going to go on Jaden Jackson.
One of our officials did not like the little extra contact. Knocked that off. We're not going to have that in my game.
Todd Van Sassen, that was the ball. Carson Johnson moving in toward Jaden Jackson. Jackson kind of knocked the ball out of his hands. Carson tried to get it back. Then Jackson tried to get it back. And Todd Van Sassen said, give me that ball. I'm taking this ball from you two. Todd Van Sassen's been in this league a while, out there with Chad Barlow and Michael Irving tonight, our 3-man Summit League officiating crew. Zay Nelson, left side into the corner, finds Burke. Jeremiah Burke has taken almost half of Denver's 16 threes, but here he'll go inside. First offering didn't go. Got a tip back cancel. And hustles to get his own rebound.
There are lots of contact around the hoop on that one. No call.
And right now, Denver is out rebounding South Dakota State. Before this sequence, 29-17. We got a travel call here that goes against the Pioneers for the turnover. We'll talk about that a little bit more on the other side. 15:36 to go home weekends, but here's what's coming up for the Pioneers. On the road at Omaha, coming up on Sunday. A rare Sunday Summit League contest.
11 a.m. game.
Yeah, noon local time, 11 a.m. tip-off here Mountain Time, and then the final 2 home games of the season next week. South Dakota, St. Thomas. Final road trip of the season will be to Oral Roberts, a team that may well grab its first conference win of the season tonight. And then it's on to the Summit League tournament in Sioux Falls starting on March 4th this year. 15 to go here in this second half. And a wedgie! The Kevin Harlan wedgie!
I'm not sure what happens on this because it's a jump ball. So it must be going South Dakota State. That's
Yeah.
too bad for DU because that shot was not going in. Got a wedgie and going to get it back.
That was a tough angle on the scoop shot there from, I believe that was Seiler down low. Let that one go. Just could not get the leverage on it, and the turnaround hook won't go from Alex Squires either.
How many jump hooks have we seen right there with South Dakota State, and they isn't going in?
That is now a 1 for 10 start from the floor for SDSU here in the second half. Here goes Zane Nelson left side. Nelson Sargis shot is good.
Drive of the game right there. Little Michael Jordan-esque, the up and down and finish with a left off the glass.
What a finish from Zane Nelson out of the baseline. Good drive there. And Matthew Moores, 6'7", 215. For Matthew Moores, that was his second field goal attempt, not from three-point range. He's been letting them fly from downtown, but now trying to get to the glass, do some of the dirty work down low.
Rare, easy shot for the Jackrabbits, and made them pay.
Kinsey from beyond the arc. Kinsey's three is a little short, and there is Alex Squires for the rebound. And man, Didier Mullane going to be called for a foul, just trying to knock that ball out.
Watch the contact on this little hand check there in the back with the body. Bam, and he's still able to finish.
I mean, that is as good as it gets on just a play that's only going to go onto the stat sheet as a 2-point bucket. But Zane Nelson, there is not much more that you can do to dazzle on a lay-in like that. Josh Lee and Sean Wysocki will check into this game in place of Zane Nelson and Logan Kinsey. It's a 15-point game. Denver has led this thing throughout, essentially. South Dakota State led it at 8-6. That was the last lead for the Jackrabbits in this game. Left side with it, spinning to the block is Gary. What a finish from Kalen Gary. He's been great tonight. 13 ties him for a game high.
Well-organized play there by South Dakota State. Couple screens, and DU caught out of position again.
46-33. Denver's biggest lead is 17. They have hit it twice. Johnson, another three, and he got it again.
Wow, this crowd is going ballistic. 16 big ones for Carson Johnson.
Back to a 16-point lead for Denver. Gary through the lane. Gary's jumper rims in and out. Offensive board there for Squires. Squires lobs it back up top. Gary nearly fumbled it, able to keep the handle.
13 on the clock.
Little back to Gary. Three on the way. That one's in and out. And the rebound this time for Jeremiah Burke. Burke coming up on a double-double. He's at 9 and 9 now. And South Dakota State is now 0 for 10 from three-point range tonight.
That's amazing. You know, when you're making them early, then they seem to continue. But when you miss them, it just seems like that basket is so small.
16-point lead for DU. Wysocki trying to make it a game high, and it is. Now an 18-point advantage. Second made bucket of the night for Wysocki. He's got 5 as the Pioneers are blowing the doors off again here in a home matchup with SDSU. And a foul call that'll go on Wysocki is Kalen Gary trying to drive around him.
Now look at Wysocki getting down Main Street, USA, right to the glass. Wow, what a play. Biggest lead of the game for DU.
So it'll be 20 on the shot clock. That one the 4th team foul on Denver since halftime.
14 fouls. Denver just 1 on South Dakota State.
Luke Hurdle inbounds. Finds Joe Seiler. Left side to Jaden Jackson. Jackson has been very quiet tonight. Averages 13.1 per game. He's got just 2 this evening. Great spin and take down low. And the bucket for Damon Wilkinson. He's got 8 now. 12:15 to go in regulation. 16-point lead for Denver.
And South Dakota State's choosing to go to a little zone, mixing it up here.
Here's Jeremiah Burke from the corner, bounces off of Caleb Delzo there. Back up top for Josh Lee. Carson Johnson. Bounce pass down low. Wysocki wide open to dunk. Carson Johnson hands does that so often. He draws so much attention, but he's really good at finding guys on those dump-off feeds at the baseline. And he made it easy for Wysocki as the lead is back to 18 points. 53-35. Seiler spinning in the paint. Seiler's layup is short. Offensive board there for the Jackrabbits, who will restart it. Back out through Hurdle to Jackson up top. Burke picks him up. Jackson trying to get around him right side of the paint. Jackson, great move to duck under Jeremiah Burke. And Jackson, though he has been quiet, a guy who can always go off. And he's got his first bucket of the second half.
Back in the zone again as DU.
Johnson, long range three. In and out. Wysocki there for the rebound. Got to try to get it back out, and a foul call instead will help Sean Wysocki there. And with 11:04 to go in regulation, we will step aside. Denver has hardly let off the gas since we hit.
Good defense, good contest, just a better shot.
I think the most interesting thing about this game for Denver, Carson Johnson's the only player in double figures. He's got 16, as you see tonight, on 6 of 11 shooting and 2 for 5 from three-point range. Nobody else is in double figures for Denver. And not only that, but 7 Pioneers have multiple rebounds in this game, led by a game-high 9 for Jeremiah Burke, who was both 1 point and 1 rebound away from double figures. And here, Gabe Oldham just lost it off the dribble out of bounds.
Now, physicality all over the board after that timeout there by South Dakota State, and able to get Gabe to fumble it.
10:45 to go. Johnson down to Wilkinson, spinning to get around Oldham. Hook shot, too strong. Rebound for Moores. That won't go either. South Dakota State, it's like there's a lid on this basket here in the second half. They heated up for a little while, but now 5 for 17 here since halftime.
Yeah, Carson Johnson out of the game. Going to try to give him a blow. DU working against the zone.
Nelson spots up. Too strong there. Wysocki battling, but unable to control the rebound. So here comes Hurdle. Hurdle, how it punched out of his hand by Nelson. Here comes Zane with Moores in pursuit. Oh, and Nelson went for the dunk, and Moores swats it. But Wysocki's there to clean it up for 2. Man, that is great effort by Matthew Moores getting back defensively.
Trying to get the highlight reel.
Tried to put Moores on a poster, and Matthew Moores standing tall, the 6'7", 215 out of Yankton.
That's locker room material, because even though you're DU, they'll talk about it.
Wilkinson up through contact, bucket's good, and he'll go to the line. Man, oh man, let's take another look at the defensive hustle from Matthew Moores. Zane Nelson tried to put him on the poster, and Moores got back and got it. But man, how about Sean Wysocki following there to clean it up?
Wysocki, what a hustle game he's had tonight. Another offensive rebound for him. Big shot.
3 players at 9 points tonight for Denver. Wysocki's one of them, along with Zane Nelson and Jeremiah Burke. Wilkinson at the line. He's got 10. He's the second Jackrabbit to double figures.
Giving Zane Nelson a little blow to think over that rejection. South Dakota State back down to 18. They're showing a little press here.
Josh Lee whips it across the floor to Carson Johnson. Bursts across half court to get Denver onto the right side of the stripe inside of those 10 seconds.
And the shot clock. Part of that press, you want to run the shot clock down. Well, they've done that.
Here's Burke. Back to Johnson. Home screen for him. Instead, Carson's going to do it himself. Up against Seiler. Are you kidding me?
The DU student body is up right behind us on that fade.
Carson Johnson is as fun a player, both scoring-wise and also just emotionally. We've compared him to Tommy Bruner all season. The Pioneers, as Moores answers there with a 3 of his own. That is the first three-pointer of the game for South Dakota State. They are now 1 for 11 from downtown. But Carson Johnson, that 3 a second ago, he turned and looked over at us, looked up at the student section, just yelled, "Oh my goodness."
Well, I hope they don't have to rely that on the rest of the game, because that was a tough shot.
Oldham out to screen for him. Johnson swings it through Lee. Burke wide open for 3. Yes, sir!
The 3-ball difference tonight is gigantic. Again, DU knocks it down.
Denver is now plus 30 in the three-point category. The Pioneers are 11 for 21, and South Dakota State is 1 for 11 from three-point range. We got a foul away from the basketball. That'll go against Josh Lee, it appears.
It'll be the 5th or 6th team foul. So South Dakota State in the bonus on the next foul. Again, the difference in this game right now, the defense of DU and the 3 points made.
Inbound pass to Wilkinson. Swings it over to Morris, trying to get to the baseline first. Burke there to greet him, Oldham to help out. Pass nearly fumbled. Great job by Wilkinson to stick with it. Up top three from Gary is short. And there for the board is Gabe Oldham.
4 DU Pioneers with the inside position on another miss 3 by South Dakota State.
The Pioneers' hands now plus 15 in the rebounding category, 37-22.
Part of my keys to the game were hold them under 70 and dominate the glass, and they've done both.
Up to help on Johnson was Wilkinson. Johnson had it stripped, and here comes Jackson the other way. He's got Wilkinson out in front of him. Instead, deals it back. Here's a three on the way from Gary. In and out, no good. And Josh Lee will get the rebound, and then a foul call as 2 players get tied up going to the floor. Wilkinson and
they're going to review
Kinsey.
this one.
Yeah, they'll take a look at this. There was a lot of contact there.
There were a lot of flagrant foul, but right call for college basketball. That's how they call it.
So it'll be Damon Wilkinson at the free throw line, the 6'10", 245 sophomore. As you see Logan Kinsey shaking off that moment with Jeremiah Burke. This is one other look at that foul from a second ago, and watch the left arm of Kinsey. He kind of initially pulls that right arm of Wilkinson down, and then Wilkinson got tied up in him, and they both went to the floor. So that's the call upon the review. The benefit of having a pregame conversation with the officials was it was nice of Chad Barlow to come over and say, "Hello, gentlemen," because we've been old friends since 20 minutes or so before tip. As SDSU basketball after the timeout. 16-point lead for Denver. It has been around that margin for most of this second half. Great move in the lane and the turnaround look from Kalen Gary there.
You think how big of that play is it's a 4-point play, and DU doesn't have the ball.
Yeah, it was an 18-point lead. The Pioneers see SDSU grab 4 straight right back. So for Denver, I mean, you still got to be careful right here. This game is by no means over. 6:40 to go.
You can't ice the clock here. 10 on the clock. South Dakota State showing some double teaming. That's the guy you wanted.
Johnson left side finds Kinsey. Head fakes a man. Gets by him and throws it down.
Oh, that's how you respond. He got called for the flagrant, and now he just put a flagrant dunk on South Dakota State.
Logan Kinsey, that quick burst is now ball lost out of bounds by Wilkinson, and a turnover for SDSU. Kinsey is just so quick, that head fake and that first step.
Good
and he
penetration.
Was in.
Carson Johnson, wow, I thought he would lay it up. He said, I'm up here, I'm gonna go for the dunk.
Logan on the receiving end of the inbound as South Dakota State backs off of that pressure a little bit. 63-47. Jeremiah Burke to Josh Lee in front of the Denver bench, and now back to him.
Now South Dakota State does not want Carson Johnson to hit it.
Jeremiah Burke, circus shot is good, and he'll head to the line now to try to complete a 3-point play.
Now you thought if they were going to make a run, South Dakota State, it was going to be on that 4-point play, but here you go. Contact again, finally get a call. Woo, Jeremiah Burke, that puts him in double digits.
Jeremiah Burke, 1 rebound away from a double-double now. And the free throw is good. Hey, Pioneer fans, at Raymond James, they're invested in Colorado and in you. Their advisors offer personalized planning that goes beyond investments. Raymond James & Associates helps you navigate life's changes with confidence. Member of the New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. Quick conversion there for Joe Seiler, and now ball lost out of bounds. Last touch by Josh Lee. Will stay with SDSU.
A little sloppy there, easy layup, and then you know they're pressing. You've got to be able to move the basketball through the pass. That's just too easy going to the hoop. Got to get a little help on that.
Joe Seiler creeping up on double figures as well. And on that layup, in fact, he will reach double figures. He's got 10. So again, SDSU, quick 4-0 burst there. Now Carson Johnson spins out of the double team. South Dakota State will back off, and Denver can take a little bit more time off of this clock. Right side with it is Lee.
Careful when the ball's in the corner. That's tough when you get trapped there.
Burke going to work against Moores. Bounce pass in, was looking for Kinsey. Kinsey somehow was able to keep that ball, and he's fouled as he goes up. I thought that was off his fingertips and headed the other way.
Yeah, that was an almost play, but again, good pass, Jeremiah Burke. Logan flashes in the middle. He got grabbed on the arm on the way up. The free throws are going to be big. That's I think that's only the third foul.
Number 4 this half on SDSU.
Number 4.
First one no good for Kinsey. Not a whole lot of free throws so far in this game. That is number 18 combined. Denver now 7 for 9. SDSU 8 for 9. Can't get that one to fall either. Rebound for Kalen Gary.
Got to do it on the defensive end now. Make sure you're not giving up easy layups or open threes.
Here's Matthew Moores into the paint. Turns around and feeds Squires. Hook shot won't go. Rebound. Nice job by Oldham to tip it to Burke.
And Burke now has a double-double.
There it is. Jeremiah Burke's 10th board of the game. Another double-double for him this season. The Pioneers looking to add to this 15-point lead as we come up on 4:30 to go. Josh Lee feeding Carson Johnson.
10 on the clock. Carson's going to have to make a one-on-one move here. Wow, lots of contact. Holy
Jackson.
cow.
I don't know how you don't get that
Tim
call.
Bergstrader is going nuts.
Berg is living, and it turns into a 3 opportunity the other way. It won't turn into a 3 made, at least on the initial offering. And that's a pretty stunning no call. You wait for a big guy to get up in the air like that. Credit to Alex Squires for coming down, and it turns into 2 points the other way. Tim Bergstrader is furious on that Denver sideline. 13-point game now, 3:50 to go. Oldham down low, works with Kinsey, comes it off to him. Seiler commits the foul. Oh, what a roll off the front iron, and Kinsey will try to finish off a 3-point play of his own.
3:48, that's a big play there because
Zane Nelson with 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal tonight. Jeremiah Burke, double-double, 15 and 10. He's got 2 assists as well. Carson Johnson, 19 points, 4 assists. And Logan Kinsey, though he does not convert there, 9 points for him. Denver can get 5 into double figures. Kinsey, Nelson, and Wysocki each with 9. Jackson feeds it right side to Wilkinson. Wilkinson through contact. His shot is good, and he will head to the free throw line.
What a play there. That's a tough one to defend because it's a pick and roll that you have to hedge out, and then Wilkinson's got the angle going to the hoop. I'd like to see Gay just hack him hard right there. He's got an easy look.
So Damon will go to the stripe. And he will knock down the 6th free throw in as many tries tonight as Zane Nelson will jump back into the game in place of Josh Lee.
3 for 35 plus 12. This game is not over. South Dakota State is putting their press on. You got to get that ball into the middle on a flash, and somebody's got to be deep too for DU. Because the more people you put in the backcourt, the more bodies that could potentially intercept the basket.
Into Nelson. Swung through Burke. Here goes Johnson. Up to Kinsey. That is as textbook a press break as you'll get. But what a job by Kalen Gary. Flying back defensively, and he's got the block. 12-point game. SDSU could trim this to single digits. 3 ball. No good. And Nelson gets to the rebound in the corner and is able to deal out of it to Burke. What a job by Zane Nelson to track that ball down before it went out of bounds.
Now, move the ball with the pass because you're going to be seeing double teams.
Burke, hands off on the left side to Kinsey.
3 minutes to go, up 12. This game not over.
Nelson set a hard screen there on Gary to free up that initial look. Now Nelson collects it back in a silky smooth fadeaway.
That'll probably do the deal right now. Zane Nelson with a pretty fadeaway.
He's into double figures now, 11 for Nelson, and it's a 14-point lead for Denver. Oldham, Wilkinson, back the elbow, didn't make the shot, and a tie up on the rebound. It will be Denver basketball.
Wilkinson just the physicality, had everything but the made bucket, and DU hung with it at the rebound. Up 14 with 2:30 to go, and be ready for the press. Now, Zane is right. You got to get, if you go deep, they're going to go deep with you. So be careful here.
Hey, Pioneer fans, when you're injured, speed matters. Panorama Orthopedics has partnered with the Hurt app for fast and free orthopedic advice from experts. Download today at panoramaortho.com/hurt. That foul, number 7 on South Dakota State here in the second half. So Denver's going to start shooting free throws. Pioneers in the bonus. The Jackrabbits have been in the bonus for a little while. As the first-year head man, Brian Peterson, of this South Dakota State program, looking on as his team is in danger of falling to 4-7 in the league and 11-15 overall. That is pretty uncharted territory for this program in recent years. South Dakota State, conference champs in 5 of the last 10 seasons in this league. They won in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2022. They ended the Pioneers' dream run in 2024 in the conference final.
He used a little token pressure just to take time off the clock. You've got to match up.
Seiler wings it across the floor. He finds Gary over there. David Gary, nice drive to the baseline, but he can't finish.
Boy, they missed a bunch of shots on the inside. Team's done a nice job of contesting around the hoop.
Johnson into the corner. Burke for 3. Got it again. Jeremiah Burke, 5 for 9 from downtown tonight. And 1 point shy of matching Carson Johnson for the game high, as Jeremiah's got 18. 18 and 11 rebounds to go for the NDSU transfer. As a kickball here will send us to another inbound with 1:46 to go.
Well, that was a little too much time on the clock for me, but he said, "You're feeling it, you're feeling it. Jack it up."
Man, Burke with 6 makes tonight, 5 from downtown. Here's Seiler, who will try a 3 of his own, and he knocks it down as well.
Just the second made 3 by South Dakota with 1:36 to go in the game.
And we will step. Point lead at Hamilton Gymnasium for the Denver Pioneers. The Denver South drum line has been bringing the energy all night long at Hamilton Gymnasium. It has been a fun one for those in attendance on this Thursday night as the Pioneers look to wrap up their final regular season series as conference foes with the South Dakota State Jackrabbits with a home win. Inbound pass comes to Carson Johnson with 95 seconds left in this game. He is fouled.
Carson Johnson has earned his keep because he's drawn a lot of contact. Going to get some free throws here with 1:35 on the clock. Only 1 second came off.
Yeah, and Heads, that's sort of the question right now. You got a big enough lead that you feel very confident in closing this out, but these are very big free throws.
Yeah, you want to put yourself in pressure situation because when you get in the conference tournament where all the marbles on the line, you're going to have to come through some of this. Carson, a great free throw shooter. That's his 20th point on the night.
To go along with 5 assists for Carson Johnson. Second one's good. Just another 20-plus point effort for Carson Johnson, the Pioneers' leading scorer, one of the best scorers in the Summit League here in 2025-26. South Dakota State's got to go for 3s, and that one is off the mark from Kalen Gary. And Denver with the rebound as Burke's got another one. JB gets it to Zane Nelson, hustles it across the timeline, and Denver now can really just bleed clock as long as South Dakota State lets them.
And they're going to, smart play there because Logan Kinsey could have taken that to hoop and maybe got a layup, but you want to burn clock. About a minute to go, 5 on the clock, got to shoot it. And a step back.
Nelson, a good look, in and out, but an offensive rebound for Gabe Oldham, and Denver can hold it a little while longer. So South Dakota State will wave the white flag here. But yeah, that rebounding category, the 3s category, this is a dominant showing by Denver tonight as Johnson takes it himself. And guess what? 2 more for Carson Johnson. He's got 23.
What a drive by Carson. High off the glass. Wilkinson thought he was going to get the block there, but didn't.
Seiler steps back for a corner 3. That's short. And the rebound is out of bounds. Johnson came down with it, but on the baseline.
Let's just jive here, Tyler. You know, create the separation. Goes off the right foot high. Oh, that's a tough shot. He made it look easy, but that is a tough shot.
Carson Johnson listed at 6'1", 180. Just got that past 6'10", 245. Damon Wilkinson's outstretched arms, and with the shot clock turned off, that's going to do it in this one. A season-best defensive effort against a Division I opponent for the Pioneers, who allow just 61 in this one. That matches their win at Kansas City when they knocked off the Roos 69-61, and Denver in this one will roll into the win column on a very impressive night at Hamilton Gymnasium. Our final score, Denver 79, South Dakota State 61, hands a very complete effort minute 1 through minute 40.